Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. So, as my friends at yarnspirations.com, I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to do the Crochet Mixed Bag. This is a tapestry concept, and what I'm going to do to make it easier is to divide up this tutorial by the sections of the bag. So today is video number 1, as we're going to concentrate on the center of the bag right at the very base. So we're going to begin that, and then once we get that established, then the rest of the rounds will fall into place, and we'll do each section piece by piece in order to work our way up. This is going to use Red Heart Super Saver Ogo. The advantage of it, you see how many colors there are? There are technically only 3 balls. You have a main color of the black, which I'll be using soft navy, and then I'll be using a rainbow and also jewel tone in order to do it. So when you look at your yarn, you're going to see that it's in Ogo format. So you're just going to separate the color out, and we're going to be doing that and then just use each color. So there's a total color count of 11 in order to make this work. So we're going to need some stitch markers today. You'll need a 5.5mm size eye crochet hook. Just for tutorial sake, I'm going to be using a 5mm size H, so that this can be a little bit tighter for me. And I'm just going to be working my way through the pattern as we begin. And you're going to notice is that the tapestry crochet diagram is on page number 3, but we're not going to concentrate on that today. We're going to concentrate on the very base of the bag and get ourselves established. And next time you see me, we'll then do the next part that you'll see, and we'll work our way up through that way. So without further ado, let's get started right now. So the main color is going to be black, but I want soft navy for mine. So you just got to close the window and just release the yarn from the box, and just recycle your box when you're ready, and you're going to pull it. The reason why they want the box is that it sits flat on the shelf so that it has demonstration purposes for the retailer, but also they can peg it if they want to. So you're going to pull this back, and you're going to notice is that when you release the packaging and you toss this into the recycle bin, that it's been secured through a plastic wrap so that people don't unwrap it at the store. You're going to cut that and just remove that out. And you can decide what you want to do. This is the yarn here, so you don't have to dig in for it, or you can use the back end of this and have it go in that way. You decide which way you want to go, and let's grab our crochet hook and let's begin. So we're now going to begin at the base of the bag. I know it's kind of blurry here, but we're going to work our way through, and then we're going to just work our way through the section, and then we'll get to the main body later. So we're going to do up to round number 7 today as we begin the base of the bag. As you begin today, make sure that you make 2 stitch markers. You can also use plastic components that you may find at the store if you wish. I always find I never lose spare yarn. And we're going to use those to indicate the edges of the bag to make it easier to count. To begin, we're going to create a slip knot, move these aside, and we'll do a chain of 39. So just insert your hook into there. Remember that never counts as 1, and we want to chain 39. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go all the way to 39, and meet me back here in just a moment. Okay, now that we're all the way here, we want to go second chain from the hook. I know it's harder to see with this color, but just bear with it. And second chain from the hook, and you need to place in 2 single crochets into that spot. The first one that you just placed is technically the very middle of the edge of the bag. And what I need you to do is continue along the back hump of the chain all the way down to the other side, and I'll meet you at the very last stitch where we'll turn around and we'll come around the underside of this in just a moment. So I have this the last stitch to go before the edge. I want to show you a tip. You're going to put 3 single crochets in that one. So 1, 2, and 3. And here's my tip for you. I want you at this point is to place in a stitch marker in the second one of the grouping of 3. This will represent the very edge of your bag. Continuing to turn this upside down, then you want to work on the underside of the chain, and you're going to start right here where my thumb is moving. Place down the straggler so that you can trap it, and you are just going to single crochet yourself all the way back across this, and I'll meet you on the second last stitch before the end of the chain to show you how to finish. When you're coming all the way across, you're going to go right to the very last stitch that you have. Now when you started, remember that you put 2 single crochets into the very first one here, so your very last one is going to be 1 single crochet in that same stitch, which gives you the 3 single crochets on the edge that you needed, and then you're going to slip stitch then to the next one. This bag, in order to keep the sides equal, you have to turn your work and go back now in the opposite direction. Okay, so you can't just keep going around and around. You have to turn at the end, and we'll be working on the wrong side for just this moment. So let's begin round number 2. So they're asking us to place stitch markers on the corners of what we're going to do at the bottom of the bag. So I've already put one stitch marker over here, but we're going to be moving it when we get there. So to do this, you're going to just chain up 1 and you'll place 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Then in the next one, it's considered a corner. So the corner will be 3 single crochets into the same stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. And they're asking us to put in the stitch marker on the second one of the grouping of 3. Now, because I had you place in the stitch marker on the opposite side, all we just need to do now is just apply 1 single crochet until we get to the stitch before you place that stitch marker in. So that's where I'm going to meet you in just a moment. So single crochet over to the stitch before you hit the stitch marker on the opposite side. So I'm coming close to the corner and we're making a new corner on this one. So we're going to come to the stitch right before the stitch marker. Okay, so it's right here. In this stitch, we want to place in 3 single crochets. So we're going to say 1, 2, and 3. And watch what I do. I'm going to move the stitch marker over to the middle one of that grouping of 3. This is your new corner for this side. So just pull it through and you can leave it in the center piece here. Then you are going to single crochet the next one where that is coming out of. And then in the next stitch after this is the new corner. So there's going to be 3 single crochets in there. So 1, 2, and 3. And you need to place the stitch marker in the second one of the grouping of 3 for there too. And this will show you every time you're hitting a corner where the corner is, so you don't have to manually count. So the corner is going to be here and here. Now we're going to continue along and we're just going to go through the opposite side. You can count it if you wish, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some tips. So let's get ourselves close to the edge of this, and I will like it close to the end, and I will meet you there in just a moment because we have to create one more corner before we finish this round. So I'm coming up all the way closer to the end, and the last stitch before we hit the corner is going to be 3 single crochets in there. So we're going to say 1, 2, and 3. And so I want to put a stitch marker in the second one of that grouping of 3 as well, and that will indicate the corner. So I'm just using the same stitch marker, just going across. And we're out of stitches at this point. You're done. So in order for us to finish though, we have to slip stitch to the beginning one and turn our work, and then begin rows number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we just turned our work. Now rows number 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all the same. And what we need to do is that every time you hit a stitch marker, there's going to be 3 single crochets into that. And you need to move that stitch marker to the second one of the grouping of 3 so that you don't have to manually count. So you're going to chain up 1 and you'll apply 1 single crochet into the first. And I wouldn't say that you need to count. Just look for these stitch markers because you place them in. So there's a stitch marker here, so place in 3 single crochets. And that second one of the 3, move the stitch marker into that position so you can find it next time. Oops, I have to come from the back. Okay, and so then you'll see it next time. And then you just single crochet yourself until you hit the next stitch markers over here, and you'll put 3 into there, mark the middle one, 3 into here, and then mark the middle one, and just keep on going around. And so you'll slip stitch. When you get back around, you'll turn your work and then do rows number 4, 5, and 6. So please do 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your own, and I'll be right back in just a moment. So I'm currently at the end of row number 6, and I should have 118 stitches. If you don't have 118, maybe you have 117, you can just, before you finish off, you can just put in like 2 stitches into the same stitch in order to get yourself up. And if you have too many, then you can just do a 2 together single crochet somewhere. And if you have more than that, you can just equally space that. What we need to do in round number 7 is to get ourselves to 120 stitches. 120 is the magic number. This stitching repeat is in multiples of 60. So 60 times 2 equals 120. So whatever happens in the next round, we should have just 120 stitches. So I've already turned my work. You can now remove your stitch markers out. That doesn't matter. And our goal is, because we have 118 stitches now, we only have to get 2 more stitches in order to get to 120. So what they're asking us to do is to get started with this, and we're going to put in 2 single crochet in the front loop only. And what we're doing is we're creating a bend in the fabric. So to do that, you're going to chain up 1 and do 2 single crochets in the front loop only, okay? So if there's always 2 loops that equal 1 stitch, the loop that is closest to you is the front loop. I know this yard is hard to see. Do you see how I just did that here on the edge? What you can do, it says to count 58 single crochets. That'll take you approximately to here, the middle. I wouldn't bother to count. I would just say in the middle here, just add up, put 2 single crochets in the front loop only, and then just continue to single crochet front loop the remaining. So that's what I would do in single crochet front loop, all the remaining ones that you get there. Make sure that you do end up with 120. It just makes sense. If you got like 117 or something, just put in 2 into the same stitch in order to have the balance. That's what I would do, and I will see you at the end of this round. So just make sure halfway around you put in your 2 single crochets in the front loop only to get yourself up to 120. So I've now just completed up to round number 7, and we're going to start the main body in the next video, and we're going to have this done. Make sure that you do have 120. I've already verified that. We're going to be changing our yarn in the next video, and we're going to begin that. What I'll do is I'll put a playlist together. I'll put it in the video description, and every time a new video is added for this series, I'll add it to that playlist for your convenience. Without further ado, we'll see you again next time, and we hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.